Welcome back, everyone, to Midday Super Talk Mississippi in the Element Wealth Studios. Joining us now, Senator Roger Wicker. Thanks for joining us. Senator, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing fine. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. We got you loud and clear. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Got your coat on, and here I am in shirt sleeves. So,
It's cold down here. Had a meeting this morning and was walking out and about. Madison County meeting, in fact, talking about our needs in Madison County. We entertained our delegation, our state delegation, and also talked about you and Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith. I know you guys are working for us as well in that regard. We're proud of the county. We have a good problem. We got lots of growth and lots of good things going on. So we have needs from an infrastructure perspective. But wanted to have you on to talk to you about this Twitter debacle with Elon Musk being at the helm now. He, of course, since day one has released a treasure trove of information that I think is fairly damning with respect to collusion, what appears to be collusion between federal agencies and certainly individuals within those agencies and the company itself in censoring information and possibly even influencing our presidential election.
well, absolutely, and in a race where Arizona was razor thin, we didn't know for days who had won Pennsylvania, and so on and so forth. I think what Twitter did may very well have influenced a percentage or two of those votes. What would the public have thought if the mainstream media had been truthful, and also if these platforms had just allowed free expression on this truth, which is undisputed at this point? Hunter Biden, the son of the then sitting vice president of the United States, was receiving enormous sums of money, into the millions of dollars, from corrupt Ukrainian leaders, from corrupt government-owned companies in the People's Republic of China. And there were texts and exchanges and emails on a laptop that he had owned, and he obviously forgot to retrieve, saying how much money he had gotten, and how much of this was going to the big guy, and how much of it was going to his uncle, the brother of the vice president. What if that had been, well, first of all, what if that had been a Republican? What if that had been Mike Pence, the vice president under President Trump? It would have been the first 5 or 10 minutes of every 6 o'clock news program. But also, what we now know from the fact that Elon Musk had some sort of a epiphany and decided to take over Twitter, what we know is that the Biden administration and the Democratic operatives actually called the people at Twitter and said, you need to stop this. And there was collusion between the Twitter folks and the Democratic operatives. And in a race where you lose by 0.5% in 2 or 3 states, that could have made the difference. But also, it's an outrage, and not the least of which is not really what you're calling about. The FBI, present and former people, came forward and signed a letter saying this was almost certainly Russian disinformation. And turns out it wasn't. Every single thing that's on that laptop has now been verified, and we still can't get the mainstream media. You knew about it. I knew about it because we were watching Fox News and getting the truth. But so many people weren't, and so what we've learned is Twitter was in cahoots with the top officials in the Biden administration, trying to get in the Biden campaign, trying to get Vice President Biden elected president, and they seem to have succeeded.
Yeah, and Senator, I think the New York Post is probably on the story first and maybe more aggressively, Miranda Devine there than anybody. And then they deplatformed them off the tool, off the system, wouldn't report anything, and they were trying to scream to the world, look, this is information that we have proven. It's viable, accurate information. There's no question about it. And they would not release it. They would not publish it, and that's a problem.
And then there's another thing they do, and I'll confess, I have a lot of talented staff people that do that watch the Twitter for me. I don't stay on Twitter as much as some people do, but there's a thing called trending. If I send something in and a lot of people click on it and like it and send it on to others, it's called trending. Twitter was able to stop information like that from trending, and so people would wonder, news columnists and opinion makers and influencers would say, why am I not? Why is this explosive information I'm posting on Twitter? Why is nobody paying attention to it? And now we learn that at the request of Democratic operatives in the Biden campaign, the people had made an absolute decision to rig the electronics and the way it's retweeted.
They call it shadow banning and de-amplifying is the terminology they use. And then they had sort of created their own little internal language, parlance, if you will, and kind of shielded, I think, intended to shield at least, using these acronyms and initials and abbreviations for all of this communication going back and forth. But it seems to me like, Senator, every American ought to be shaken to the core when you think about such a powerful organization as the FBI that is working directly with a private company, really for political gain, not because they were executing and discharging their function from a law enforcement perspective, but purely for political gain.
It pains me to say this because I've got a lot of friends in the FBI at the agent level, but at the highest levels there was corruption, huge corruption, massive, and widespread in the leadership of the FBI, no question about it. And it's something we need to get to the bottom of. Now, back during the Trump versus Biden campaign, late in the day, I was chairman of the Commerce Committee. I called a hearing on this, and we had the leaders of these platforms, Facebook and particularly Twitter, and I asked. You can go on the record. I asked Jack Dorsey, the head of Twitter. Mm-hmm. If he had information that the laptop was Russian disinformation, and he said he had no such information. Again, if it should have been on the other foot, and this had been Republicans in the hot seat, and a Democrat asking the question, that would have led NBC and CBS News that evening. But it's all been a matter of the social media kingpins and decision makers and the mainstream media being in the tank for the left and doing what they can to help Joe Biden win a very close election. And
that's crazy.
And we're going to have, we got a small majority in the House of Representatives, 4 votes for the Republicans, but it is a situation where the chairman of committees will now be Republicans, and they will be having hearings on that. And then I'm moving over to the Armed Services Committee ranking position, and Ted Cruz, senator from Texas, is moving into the ranking member on Commerce. And he can't call a hearing, but you can bet anytime somebody from social media comes before that committee, he'll be asking tough questions, and then I'm a couple of seats down the dais, and I will still be on the committee, and we're going to be asking those questions. It's late in the day, December is half over, and Congress will probably be adjourning for the year on the 22nd. So there's not much time left in this year, but you can bet there'll be legislation introduced. It'll probably come to us from the House of Representatives, and we'll see what the American people say about it.
Yeah, and what I hope, Senator, whoever ends up being the chair of Commerce, will in fact call for an investigation and have these leaders up on the Hill to continue to investigate further. That's what I hope. Senator,
in the House they will. I doubt that.
They got power in the House. The Senate probably won't do it. Democrat control. Appreciate you coming on, Senator. Good to talk to you, sir. You and yours, please have a very happy, healthy, safe, and Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Coming right back